aku North Studios on ka mata fun yara ita malamin Sumatra na ka zira amfani nta zungo dafsingo an yare facial mo do na asane sasha kam tumuno balache nta ka tadiri party ma alizama zungo dabai ya to aya yina pam po mazo nta ka ko zan jendela politics ngo ya to karnyala zungo tope deba takati yule te ben yule Tribunal Bill shali Parliament no passé no zanchang John Dramani Mahama yara to Ghana government mbala president no to sane kar kello ne nta ka wabgo no yinati yen no la bill ma de simsini o sane tinya la banyan yule kalan ka to yule chama Wontumi nta 20th of this month mbala Accra High Court da nyala bang mai 20 years in prison too, intano or company that involved in galamsey mining. Inta ka around my 20 years too, no pay jariara puni. Inta tinye ben yuruba. Kalanka to really last 2 weeks ma tranye MPP da number constituency executive elections. The whole Ghana. Inta ka danya din chamfe yelpam ta to northern region wa trawenye ka barga bi nom di biane ba tranye ka other constituencies ka yeto ara nan ka zabe nta tinye ben ka to wille ya ku North Studios on ka yunma mat fon ya duate pejin mozasa anyala nguyen dir enfant kam team male netata nta chan ka ta mini ti chamati pewani ke wum la ba shali ummal no otete so da suno amaraba
nta okulmana because ne yana kulmina kan tulun bon kan de intana studio mo fune nta na min fun bechi katilan be piezo waza ya so ale lan kulen yam no kulmina ba na di zan ye to shanga so ma zo kan yana kulmina
okay to ten zumo ten yula la badin no kozan la version no kozan shango nta Tribunal Bill shele Parliament passly kaza chong te yala te essence John Dramani Mahama senuti insanele ntana karpa pete bill ne ke yina to pota na bill ma ne nyedem jepam nta ka yina te ya ni rinye mun kam to Tribunal Bill ngo nta no nyala ngun to Ghana liagum sin bozo ke yina to ne or sanele
yes nta poi kan kuli nzam yet wa shele first topic issue shele anzan soma the recently passed Tribunal Bill. Bill shall enter the full pass through series of parliamentary proceedings. But some of the final proceeding be the final bene katukopalangula the presidential assent ma governor no tinu anti da kasati karapali abzal go tangban mo pune poi kan chere pune the malbukata pamneti apana one nta ka pamanye den no talai tuzo karinyera pama tempo karinyera ngam ka yirko ka dalir ma nyera dene na wonyera na gandele wonnam non kasi kaduka bara ka sashar kam obin nam da zo ka wonna wonmal nam bozo ha zan chanta zo ba na tin da manma kan non tan ni'ma shere la ni'ma ma kargam ka yirko byakulo kam kan tozo kan yarla dene nyanya vilna lafi don ta nyavilna lafi na won ti che karnon tabata azo yin dadam kam yin bircin kam ka biyan non gutulin si kami biyan jinna won zuwa sai sashir kam da mala bukata na fara na woni ka pa ma nye den gan ka yirko ko alle nyavlna lafi ni ma den gan ka yirko mbala ka dale shadin tare kan yan ni ma den gan ka yirko ma nye da wula ya batir nyavlna lafi pangman batir nyavlna lafi bangsan batir nyavlna lafi ai bonnan ka tarbiya ma funa da zo batir nyavlna lafi to nawin ti yu mina katibia bia ma pune mbe zonzon gel pune donc kulen ci kat je dunia jito non tabata kat to nye bukata marwati te dunia ji ambe to vierga te dunia ji ya dimentina to nye bukata marwati te dunia ji ma kan yevlna lafi ma won le non bayana zantiti fukum se bugum yevlma boblemi bu bobra lafi ma ta won pa zata tan bala kar mal bukata ne ta par na woni ka pa ma nye den ga ka yirko nta ni mpwe the entire Savelugu constituency newly elected executive zasa Nazare North Studio mo pune kanye opportunity in the name of North Studio and to congratulate bankam da to non katare kato jibi constituency executive elections ma baba na Savelugu constituency yalamo in the entire northern region at large be the entire country at large and China's and North Studios platform mozo ka congratulate bizasa then kan congratulate bankam bara to contesti amma ka den kunan sel nim sane ne to nan na won sanda nan ka banda ba to nyen nasara den nye bra ba to ji nta party mun mi wirin una every contest the police ni ji ka so kam yanji ban yala sa shirkam the most internal contest kad nan ban ne to pi ne party pune amma na wanda to yuti tinda kul pilge constituency executive elections ma right from Savelugu constituency to the entire northern regions and to the nation at large nta constituency executive elections ma da chan salama nta the most peaceful ever constituency elections kat to nan balama ma nta tin yare internal elections ba the constituency executive elections nta recent one din da na kulgel namu ma da gahma kayirko nta jana kwal dra kul nan la salama dra ku pila bom ntila na bom ka ajana kwalkane nta wun paza ta telen balaka de tunity pa na woni ko election is so no ka shabdia ka shabdi ka shabto protest akpa hanya malo shangati nyera ka shabya no bien sai ka shabne no bien jera suya ai yes ka so nta wun paza ta telen balama ma karmar bukata na ta pa wun kam da jinin kam da ba jizasa tampu ba zasa dan no pwe the regional executive setup mazasa samo banyala bayan chan regional elections ai lele nta bakul biala ni mo punu ka be zongal pune katkul sur na woni karenya la wula na osu ma nyala den kuyen nan kab gwato nan salama kama consensus manra nan cham ka jana kwal kan ma nta tukulan be na osu ba pune ai NPP election ma pune there was a clear indication ada le pahma be aranye pahma den be elections ma pondo woman ne to wabgon ma to ban na opposition kata zashi mbala when to wabgon ma to palla na to basira pune karenya da tin labna ma to bora tin non sham to shetaba tin da yana tin non regrouping kan non restructure ma kato non reorganization ma den kwen katilo katilo into recapture power ma nta da wuyane aile alama tule din ina wasa da wuyane t-shirt non ready na tin non lala 3 R's ma reorganization regrouping and rebuilding ma nta de nyala den manla de payina pulo katin yarle to kakana tele aile on the floor of Ghanaian 9th parliament ma nta there was a serious heated banter between the minority caucus and that of majority side ma kadalir ma da kulin yala dene hali aira actually proceedings ma on the subject matter that has to do with passing the tribunal bill ma ara le lala subject matter on the floor of the Ghanaian 9th parliament ma dranyala den kama ndur barapam karnyala wula nangban chinin da nyala because dranyala kama da ta para wakati shere kam minority caucus ma opposer lala proceedings ma that has to do with benma tribunal bill ma to amira le there create a lot of parliamentary controversies pam be legislative controversies pam kadalir ma nyala dene ana kana tele minority side ma at a point bra yisimi yiba abaya and see in order for parliament to form a quorum for government business ma Miley and this no but hale to wabgunum bien be to karbanan to form two-third majority ma abaya so and usually government been forming quorum for government business ma if a number of parliamentarians present ma be to form two-third abaya in most been decision making on the floor of parliament ba shabsaya be shabsai ban samai to kul pare two-third abaya say guarantee that ya ban vote in favor of last subject matter I de bukata abaya so NDC highly la political party mo and the kind of leadership the led administration by John Dramani Mahama zang government mo nti highly the manla kama we are in a moment where kama John Dramani Mahama is prioritizing this culture of silence so the yel shele akuri yel shele talian yel ama kalala yel because democratia when you look at the democratic provision of country ma yetwa shanga bien tiri en democratia dwele drabatu nyala but upon minority ma da side can represent opposing views ma karanyela nangban chenen daniel on the subject matter of the passing of the tribunal bill ma You see, series of concerns were being raised on the part of the minority caucus ma. Kabiyalia, na I cannot tell the Tribunal Bill ma. I chant to Kotari in the dress. Way back, Abaya, in 1979 and that of 1982 to that of 1993. Teranye tarihi biane on the basis of this Tribunal Bill. The first time Bokati in Tribunal Bill.
Yeah.
So for the first time, dinamimpun be tarihi pune.
Okay.
Kati yi tarihi pune. Torenti yi tarihi pune kalabu na tarihi pune ma nangban chini yambiala pune. Bonda pun yile because historically, I chant to lead this Tribunal Bill ma. Historically, history have it in two phases.
Okay.
Tarihi bubble me yayi. Kanangban chini pambiedene. I le la bill ma. Then that time come minority side mo da opposite. Kaya na bobware na relia bill mo. Be the pass mo. Kayendi cinema at a point kabajia na share de mi pass. Just because Belayane Kamaya Ghanaians unanimously out of the 18 million voter population voted out of ignorance, voted for voting sex. Meanwhile, Ghanaians were given the opportunity to make their voter decision in the face of election 2024. But looking at the level of tragedy in this country, the Pamela Namboa, because these are one of the clear tragedy. And the level of bitterness, and this in the subject to Motu. Because Tribunal Bill Mania the Barnapam. Can Nangban chain a pam pune. Now, I cannot tell you, minority now raise first consent, Shelley. On the case or on the subject matter that has to do with Tribunal, Brian Mia, no one amin punyale. And if you are going to refer back to history in 1979 and that was 1982, now 1979 ma, Tramel Bishao. Alakana in 1979 and that of 1982 ma PNDC.
Yeah.
I think Anami won PNDC.
Yeah, PNDC.
And then I cannot 1979 ma I think Anami won yetrashele biani katebole ula kanye yelma AFRC. It's an acronym that stands for Wilma. Let me get it right for you. An acronym associated with more or less revolution that has to do with the military regime. Abaya. So I cannot tell you wakati mo. Bunamimpu nye tribuna na tumbarna sheteng ban mo pune. Jali shedin da cheka mo nyara nangwan pima. Brian miya. Na ile tuli. Bukle mara nyela dinsane. Baby opposing view mara nyela. Na chantili the era of PNDC and the era of this AFRC man. I'll give you the full meaning of AFRC. I cannot tell you tari in socially. Never anya. Kalala Tribunal Bill mo drapuntum barna pamtung ban mo pune. Kanyang highlighti barna shanga den da tumtung ban mo pune. Now truly concern minority nra race apart from be yele ndrin yele barna zanti tung ban mo abra race la concern. I chantele clause 4 as part of the clauses of the Tribunal Bill shall be passed kagule presidential assent mo. Clause 4 ma when you look at the clause 4 of the bill it permit non lawyers to sit on panels for criminal matters, expressing fear that it could function as a kangaroo court. Now, I cannot tell you, first concern that was raised on the clause 4 of Lala Tribunal Bill. Minority mara yelmiya. Naile Lala Tribunal Bill. Nere create a room and giving opportunity to non-lawyers. Bulenya non-lawyers. Lawyers that are not qualified, abaya, to sit on cases or to sit on panel issues that has to do with criminal issues.
Yeah.
Abaya, tinyara ting ban mo puna, hali judges mala problem.
So I come like I will majority and banda you need to focus on but pass it to President assigned to.
Yeah.
I will the mabo one bien appointed those who are the experts. Come on in case the criminal aspect.
No.
Like Galamsey, bien yiraba mal Galamsey banks. So I'm a Galamsey case, and they will sit on it. They will just prosecute the person. Maybe carbo darke come out to the darker shama.
So you see, yes, I have in Shalmaya. These are political motivated talks.
Okay.
I see, early tribunal. One of the suicidal part of tribunal makunyala yet fashelmo.
Okay.
You see, is politically motivated. Political interference be the then da pun yi tarihi pun karata labrana ma.
Okay.
Abaya, most lawyers or most legal practitioners or legal experts that will be appointed to most these tribunals in Yermoma.
Okay.
Will be most people aligned to a particular political party. Abaya, inviting more of political interference and most legal matters where political interference are being involved. Definitely, they are not like nangban chini yam biara da pune. Abaya nintewo be embedded. Belala legal proceedings pune. Abaya yere yetwa so nyama ailele aside minority na racial concerns ka oppose la tribunal bill ma the party labor unions. Abaya legal practitioners, legal advocates, human rights groups, but they were advocating. You see, they came out. Now, when you look at one of labor pushbacks more, labor trade union like Trade Union Congress, TUC, Abaya, and other labor groups, they heavily opposed this particular tribunal, Abaya, citing historic stigma, as well as lack of necessity. Highly labor unions more. Ne legal practitioner, legal advocates. Because tribunal. Not the minority caucus on the floor of parliament, but konda opposerle. Banda babanya legal practitioner, kami law yetwa. Kami law no tun rechencha. Kami cases the tun redimo. Kami lawyer no bantu no badi case na. Now you see, Timalik judge who are qualified to sit on most cases. Are you getting? Whether civil cases nyale, civil cases nyale, timbal legal practitioners kababeku tingban mo pune kabasha banum qualify na badi cases kanye judge number zuo tribunals might la lawyer num bambanum more qualified just because you are the mala political based appointments and this in you constituted la tribunal. It will give them the opportunity to decentralize most legal proceedings. Whether they qualify, they are qualified lawyers or they are not qualified lawyers. Be a mala opportunity in the way. Never but ojin case in them so in this area. Niman ma can yela political interference kana. That this labor groups ma, legal practitioners ma, bang bakubi tengba mo pune. Kana titerte wore tari here. Ni tari da te kana wakati shel ka tribunal mo da pum biene. Tribunal ma mi da bien drabo something ban mo. There was some kind of level of biasness. Abaya, karton bypass legal proceedings. The highly tribunal then that operate historically. There are bypassed la normal judicial proceedings. There are quite a judicial proceedings. Nyama, sorry to matari hishele. Ni legal practitioner da bien tribunals man da bien ma. Konyezo. Kajir sariya nama tangban mo pune. Karinyela ya tribunals ma drazamati issues of corruption, issues of criminality and other matters. Kabajir la sariya nama. Abaya. Nella nintarungundanye legal practitioner kajir sariya in the name of tribunal ba. Matters of corruption. And now I'm on the Mali shall make judgments. Now I could kana corruption, you are being charged of corruption. Abaya, be dimala bezisam of corruption kakana. Oranya nintara no ekulizongo nuang baga pulmongo ka pulinya dengas ko ya we afa we anjimo non corrupt. Yes, no wonder koenzango nuwa on authority mbaga zongo numo zama apuli kunya den tipsa ko ya na anjimo no nanzo na shir non corrupt. So you see ali anyere tinyari fashion
ka will kar man la kama like I will the court proceedings man chan sham kama to son case chanku tuni kati nung 2 years aya kakunye tena ban case maso ka pam karye tribunal mai passé me betenda will ne the historical background man shama den to modify kare
there's no modification no
maybe ka case mai ko
you see the reason why Ghanaians will lack confidence. There's no transparency and there's no fairness in the rulings of most tribunals. I can't put that in a direction. People that will be appointed into the various tribunals will be the criteria that will, the criteria of appointment will be politically based. Abaya, to me, Abaya, most appointment that is politically based. Abaya, it carries a whole lot of political interference. Abaya. Political interference be la de pune. Aku pa banira. Kabazanga chan tribunal. Nabati dia saria ka aku pa banira bam bwar chan kabe yan nga denne. Abaya. So I tarima no son tari bu marjiri. God history keep giving us the privilege and opportunity to source our morals. So I labor unions mama. I like the like of trade union and other legal labor groups and legal practitioners ben yar chama ni I chante le there was some kind of stigma as well as the that lack of necessity dragman la kama tribunal da non necessary drabon non talatin ban mo pune abaya karinya stigma ma nyala gula dra kun nyala kama dranya dan bore su bo wotir da man sarayanum nra jirsha
ka be dun to gu ka ta corruption abin ya karin to gu ka ta corruption
duk to gu ka ta corruption before yama yara pam no ya pam kanyan take a true corruption you see I cham to lay this early and yara this early the early tribunals in Ghana they were just special revolutionary courts established under the AFRC in 1979 and that of PNDC law to aira lele aira kanate le nangban kene din da bere pune danyela they were designed to bypass former judicial technicalities. So judicial proceedings the technicalities tuma kamala the technicalities kama yimbe tuma mo puno yimala formality shell yin dwelbe chana shell dwelen tumdi tuma abaya kache technicalities technicality has to do with some level of expertise shell abaya so most people that were appointed to the tribunal gone are the days in 79 82 and that of 93 they were not lawyers abaya they were not qualified to sit on matters of most criminal cases and that of corruption and other civil cases. And the tribunal never created a room for appeal. I mean, a court in mal appeal.
Court of appeal. Yeah. Probably they are not satisfied. Okay. So
tribunal doesn't make room for bumbo appeal. So to mabia anyela taram abaya where you are seeking justice through the law court. Karanyela ya tinyara tingbambom fune ngumme ya yamale ademu me kama dem party shamo survival of the fittest ngumme ya yamale biro sane abaya to pumpungo kami yalan yela chetable ami yalan mo yalan de tetable ka yalan ma mi mali ya ko mali judicial interference through political alignment kami ka meanwhile court ma zamati dadam kam abaya dadama no yiti yangara ya kayan fa yamal kacha kana umi kuto shena te zabazo de zoka ko tu biane wera mel lore na nye lawyer be na nye jaji ko to shina ke zuta be aka court ma ai chan bane provide state lawyers ta ko dia sareta abaya ka zanga shahranam na tinya lo shepulo katar mal yamale kayiko ka yamale ama ko zo yiko ma abaya anabi sa yetu ala nto zo kan yalla pam ba mel biala ne to komba biala ka ba me mel pam ne to nan wala ban tin yampa so biala ne mo yan kon la ba biala ka kai ka ba mel pam mo ne tin yampa kama je wa nyela tar ka mi yala ma yela kitamne disa abiala den biya salla ayan dole yala ma ko zo yama vala har ka biala ma tin nai do ba kan wuyan zaba zo na wumi kuto in na ti zaba zo to dizo kan law court abaya ka ba biane to haida le tribunals more than that there was some kind of level of bias braba bypasser like judicial formalities may be procedures abaya commander ta misali taramma be da ku charge on the issue of corruption be allegation shari kabzan be make allegation against you on the matter of corruption kabzan ana when ku dira sariya o te yam na murna na ko zo onumo zama apulmonya o ku zama apulika apulnya den gaisi wala wahala na apulnya yele long lam fulin yo ya na ji na shir jira mana to zo den jirin ya abanti yele so you see so I cannot yele lima one but dia saria you are not satisfied with bendi saria ma shama de ma look shepo ama anto apili kabla bugu ma yetwa ka laptop city ko tuma ya in saria ma na di shama kada ne tun re di sham kar jima but tribunals it will not create opportunity for people that are seeking justice through the law court to make an appeal abaya judicial formal proceedings to make a stay of execution and to file a stay of execution but only tribunals more puni I lala bankane kada lan kana tele unbelieving in the 1979 tarima na duesham unbelieving ni all the senior military officials and former heads of state were being tried and executed unbelieving ada kunye head of state kanye senior military official through the tribunal ara kuli yi pamlema pune being trial me you be tried and executed whether atum tali abatum tali nyinde kuli na minye former head of state, senior military officer, you will be prosecuted, whether atum tali be abatum tali, and you will be executed. Makavin yelamba.
Okay.
Abaya. Timmi ka kotu zamati so iti kama yetwa shari iti biyan kare manla kama yodara biya da pune ki zang tap chang da pune. So pumfo taram nya katika yiko din to va yahnama ka yala mi je no va ka va na won pa anto chan kotu ne ka statement ni lawyer ta ka wuma yetwa ko jin matama to pumfo biti dia sare ka yala mo zang o ya pelle karate pa lo shepulo na make appeal to pumfo tribunal yibe create room for appeal wala kan to no make appeal.
Okay, I to make appeal.
Abaya.
Okay.
So I lele dranyela dem biepam. So tina mi mpunye tari punu tribunal ne tumtum shere. So I lele nyama akanate le de malbarna pam den tale kam minority da opposor la yela pam da tale my brother.
Okay.
Karatunity nung adel titi to wumde buma. Nyama ala akanate le tule Rollins na zangla. Under the PNDC in 1993 ma akanate le tari ne son shere. One of the flaws of tribunals ma the barna na matuli lack of judicial independence and that of political interference. Judging mada ban to disaria judging banda be under this tribunals ma branyera judge shabaya karanyera ya bu party mp banate zele so because be so you party man to board shell din kaben na.
Okay.
Abum lack of judicial independence and that of political interference. Bu party mp go na tin na abaya no be tribunal man disaria na ma.
Okay.
Party ma iti yere ya kase wakati nyirum bala didi sariyama in o favor dim sariyama ya kan ma la against you. Party ma iti ku zambu nu chana yetwa shepune ka party ma nyiri case ka baridiria dinde kunye party ma dinde ni nyela judge ma dinde ni kunun ka judge ma nye through political appointment ko zambe ni man ma party ma nyiri tuku mbale tale babi an view den tuna ba view sha anye tin yere yetwa sha ma de time timmale nangbanchini be wona ma puni shere ka minority side ma da nyera ne other labor unions and other legal practitioners in this country ma ka da nyera de la nyebumbo de la nyedem barna pam abanya so I le benmo yela pam bi de puni ka ti yendi nyama dra disregard la due process and that of legal standards.
Okay.
Be legal standards.
Yeah.
Legal standards bien me din tuni yele mo chanchambo di papier anto make appeal di papier anto file for stay of execution ama tribunal disregard la legal standards mo be legal standards mo zasa so barna pamia dem biere pune de pala de nyadin son tingbala you see tin de yer shella unqualified judges.
Okay.
Abu mo word ma unqualified judges be yan zan shep changma de pala kamaya notably professionally abaya nirbe samato ko no well recognized as a professional trained judge. Ama mpati mpima mati nya lo shepulo ka sore bo tuno be lo shepulo ama party man zo changden ko be de man ka tum ne barna kimi ka yin yersha. So tribunal momaya is just a political system or a political mechanism the NDC is trying to establish in this country just to use to favor them in matters of their decision.
Okay.
Anya benchanga den chen country mo pune nyama at the moment John Dramani Mahama is violating human rights in the country. It's abusing human rights in the country. Want every Ghanaian to embrace this culture of silence. Lima, democratically, freedom of speech. The state security will descend heavily on you and pick you up. Tinyarle, TikTok activist, Kabubahar Batik Parta.
Mantonya Garshanga allegation ka make.
What allegation?
Information of character and to measure pasu. Karpa didn't tuna shambala.
No.
Malo satana yellow to evidence.
Yes, fine. Come where Chanta clear example. Me TikTok activist, MPP TikTok activist, Camila Alassa. Recently, she was being picked by the state security. Abaya, Kamambwa Nayesha, defamation of character. Karanyela, man of God, an authorized man of God, betung Banmore. Karanyela, Munenda Yelle, Kagel Matu so morals from man of God. Karanyela, who paraphrase from man of God, Madaj. Man of God, by a twara yellow. No point John Draman Mama Digom Natitele.
Okay.
Ne spiritually on Yellows, Mungi, Kazan near na Niema, Pa Bumpetane Shell, Mpiba Naniema. Karanyela, man of God, Manda Yellow. Kalala MPP TikTok activity mo ko to paraphrase so morals from that same man of God man Shelma, but she was being picked up by the state security. Karapela barazo chan nteno wala interview Very la court, but the state security will come and pick you, brutalize you, abuse you.
Okay. So, taking by jump to the next topic. Political bumbo interference into another court ma bin yank court shema the paladin years after lezante Ghana into the freedom be te mambopolo into another from my bad history ka dinda biere la tam shelma dra paladin jela into no kun ayu trabona na kanata zalsham ayu the definition min be shakam dinyala biang pala fi ko shele karbazaya aside kutu sha tum malon de bayan palami kariye ja ben pila non vo shabnon dan ka dir sale shanga denye donc ko kana maybe galamsi kamna bene case nta ka ko dile karba dwale due process shanga kutu na simsin dwala be den simsin dwal kutu shang so ko nya bi ko kana 1 week be 2 days anya ka ma sare won ta kare a chante pia en kilo chepolo bi a win case maka kula yan nta de yeto akoko yelma nta ne pa den jela nta endi sin mi gbanya ban yina ta sate ni trabona bi won nye bi yan zan share ntu ka gu corruption nta tumban wo puni nta bamino yure puni ma NDC NPP nta NPP no unity en no bani cheka president mamman sane bi won ta na banye bayan parna NPP balkam nta den cheka NPP bi unity en NPP den cheka bade opposite la bill.
No, come parwa set you. No, let's not be biased in looking at the topic.
The
Tribunal Bill NDC is trying to pass, but they want to use it to suppress this country.
Yes, Ana currently to situation wo. Ana will mean NDC na nyapap gane tena jitam shelwa. Ma me ne bill wo pass government. Nta so
political motivated. So if you are a rational person and then you are going to become rational, you are going to be rational with your thinking. You realize that it's a political motivated bane.
Okay.
Yes, there are court legal authorities, where you can take matters of corruption, matters of criminalities to, but they are doing this to suppress the country the more. In Yale all the time, there's some kind of this toxic political culture in the NDC. Suppression nearby. At the moment, see what is happening. Okay. You see, the government of the day is violating rule of law that was propounded by A.V. Dicey in 1885. And what the government of the day, John Dramani Mahama, he's clearly demonstrated a particular British historian that Zhang Odeo, theory of absolute power corrupt. When a leader is in authority, where the authority is being unchecked, the morality of the leader eventually become eroded and eventually inviting more abusiveness.
Okay.
Power, absolute power corrupt.
Okay. So
okay,
no. Ma'am. So to come to you the next inside the relating to Tribunal Bill the discuss wrong. The next topic nyame 20th of this month High Court that in my 20 years into impeachment bala ne hard labor into to chama zanti Ashanti regional chairman NPP mbala into no kesarka karinya no razan la adi odi o mining site zanti kabno illegal mining into ka also da yinata ma impeach zanto into NPP la yinata nziya no bias kabno ko tune no because branyi bang baso full money ka chama Wontumi kabra gbai nta kabani benda gbaso full man ma nta Wontumi yipiarlanda ba nta ne wonda nya wutia to la case nta no oban number shaw nta wuna no ko chen freely nta ka NPP unity yen no case ma de bonan adaje san chama Wontumi polo nta karnya la case zo ten kam na to yule Wontumi case ma a yule ka galamse kada santo koma pam wana ka pam fi Wontumi nunu de nyala de nyam buka tai galamse karbran non gana tambano pu.
Yes, so I lay Wontumi case ma de nyala de mole na mbwa pam kamel na ndama pam. You see, the NDC is over victimizing Wontumi in the name of galamse. But if we are going to treat individuals who go in contrary to law, I think there are prominent people or prominent individuals in the face of NDC. Minus. But you see, but you select a particular phrase against the personality of Wontumi, Chairman Wontumi, Asante Regional Chairman, the Kunya Zualen Signere, be Commander Kuyala Shelma, absolute power corrupt, Maria, to come. So you see, when you look at Wontumi in the face of illegal mining, T and Paulo from that context, we are going to look at Wontumi's case in a broader perspective. I cannot lay Wontumi yet to Ama. The Kunya Mea, NDC Namra Lua Alcali Shelton Banmopune. Dalor Gana Alcalinum Durna and San Calorish Nakatia Haifa. Loyal Kaulinama, where they were able to make a lot of propaganda, where they were able to properly align the propaganda to that of deceptive campaign messages like 24-hour economy, which we know will not be possible, where they were able to properly align propaganda to another political deceptive campaign message like 24-hour Women Bank. Zungo, in the name of the Women Bank, as a campaign policy, where they vow to do in the face of election 2024, Benda Chen Genda, Zongobi Baba Women Bank Yetwa, but shifted our goalpost. But I Ghanaians never know, be a run like lean government, now Kufaro ran like a huge administration with 120 ministers. Mabiaka Nambwama Yedene. You see, it's rational. Antonia, ka government mal plenty ministers, Kadir Larapam de Biane. But from the other way around, Anto Mel government ko mal larger plenty ministers, Kadir Lagrabiela. So Chanyela Bashao. Akufado that ran a huge number of ministers, 120 ministers, alongside 8 agencies.
Okay.
Aboya. But I attempt to lay cost of compensation at government machinery. Akufado that zilla $326 million on the 120 ministers against 8 agencies. But today, the NDC that promised Ghanaians, they were going to run a lean government, ma. No government ma yen yela den yam pora. Bambi en minister nampa nivo ko wona pishimo. Zungo the minister no ma pass 60, banda yen no be less limit to 60. Fine, Zungo bo pass 60 because defense minister can it. Abaya. Then science and then technology minister bara ko wonyavle. So out of 60 ma alan palma 58, bo lesser than 60. Now with this lesser number of ministers, that's a 58 thereabouts, against 4 agencies. The NDC is spending 6 times of what Akufo-Addo Bawumia government was spending on the 120 ministers against the 8 agencies. But today, only the operationalization on the agencies, NDC is running with 4 agencies, with less than 60 ministers, and they are spending $2.71 billion. I convert it arithmetically, Anya. So Zungo nyamben nung na shao. Zualen si zati tell bara babunya dina. Kabukuna nung kam ndaye nebo kwala oral, no from oral nebo to yi lakara ban jole MPP no ang baba banda di ting ban mo zualen sin yi lakara. Ban traye so kam ban invite double kam ko nye MPP blichina. Kara nye government appointee. Biku Zungo kana final bati yarme ya no ka case. Kabo. Anthony General ma radwel Dominica yini. Because some case mona I but over he's not guilty. Aranya the former Buffer Stock CEO. Kabiano Wula Wula. Sisida Dapa, Kabiano Wula Wula Atea. All those people were prosecuted. Karatinya, they were not crying guilty. Kabichava Kabicha. To Zumo, the NDC, after promising, making numerous number of promises, can fail Ghanaians. Woefully Kabian fail Ghanaians. Yeramaya and young Bame, Kabapabo never sang to me, ya. Because I in the face of illegal mining, Wontumi is being over victimized. Wontumi is being abused. Now, in the NDC, where we can mention prominent names who are also engaged into illegal mining. But meanwhile, using the phrase illegal mining in the name of Wontumi, it's not been appropriate. It's all right. Wontumi is not an illegal miner. So, I have to correct it. Wontumi is having a concession for mining. Okay. Abaya, Omala authorized license to do what? To mine. Abaya, Omala mining concession, come and authorized license. Where he had the authorized license from approved legal agent. Abaya, big government body. Okay. Wontumi tell the man, someone mining in his concession under his name. But no Wontumi is never an illegal miner.
Okay.
Omala authorized license. Abora nyemvele. Abaya.
Yeah.
Minerals Commission miyo yera. Kami ko mal authorized mining license.
But can miner.
Mama. By he's having a third party in his name under his mining concession. Akonta mine.
It's illegal mining.
Abaya. So third party mo. Abaya. The third party happens to be operating under illegal mining because when you are not given an authorized license by the Minerals Commission, Bumi ayelambala kama misale mmalan company abaya can register with GRA kama miri yela can you forward to GRA ka agbate kana through my company ka tumda abaya be ka usurun company name operator matinyarle.
Okay, yeah.
Abo registered by the state, but you are operating in the name of somebody who is legally registered.
Okay.
Abaya be take baga. This are beyond trace to unusual so you Abaya. So Wontumi case but ana when you Wontumi guarantee ban ground.
Yeah, okay, smart. This are ben trace the bang shoe
exactly. But bala third party.
Yeah.
Abaya. So no the mining. Abaya. But the you Wontumi mama katia assess yala ma ka scrutinizer ka assess it properly. Wontumi cannot be described as somebody who is engaging in illegal mining. Because Minerals Commission milu ya. Authorized license. But problem man ni shele. Talemone ni shele. Nyela third party so minera under o mining concession mo in his name ma. Talemone yerna shele. The problem Wontumi mama is engaging in illegal.
Ka panka ye otla permission.
Yes. So but I lilia on a more serious note. Yes, a crime is being committed, right, under his name. But not him personally. Wouldn't be Tale Mapu. Tale Tumme, come on, Giamo, Ami Mam, Camia. Cantizan are you in chant to Tumtale, Shelley.
Okay.
Man Tumtalo, by you pull me can Tumtalema, Sarei and the Anpa Mawula to the Sarema.
Okay. It's a Sarema, the Jama want to me yell no or I shall zang.
Yes, Osaya no Milana, Osaya. He has agreed.
Okay, fine.
I will
pam carriera
glitty.
Yes. To say I'll pam carriera. Yamanaka court won't dwell. This shouldn't can zang banta. I nine Cartazan chanting non abjao. Mammin that as well. Yeah. The Sabit Trisna. Bamba mia. To fine. Mancabang by sire. The Saman Tumtalo. Yes. The commander tapamish. The Sa. So I lilia. Kamaya Wontumi has agreed. Society. Okay. Abaya as an authorized mining person, command license. Okay. Mineral Commission mamang miyo ya. Miyo ya. Babang ba third party man. Melo yuli tumda under all mining concession mo. Ka Wontumi sai ni o milala nirma. Ba lo sheplo hankal nebi. Katibiya nung bias. Karpa political motivated nyere. Karkunya ya. Te warme ne gana nan bagya tira lon ya alkawle amma ka to pala alkawle ne ma ki palle retin yinye tinya nasham abaya kat boku war ne zan Wontumi ya malba bayuli ka gana nan yel ne ba pambo ma banwaya tiyan dolle kay nan hisab ma vin yara ba third party ma madda tuno gbara bi tale ma fune kama
oh yes third party ma manguna dipa third party mo nan shel ka ba go bo so Beer Bama Mama as an authorized mining somebody, an individual who is having a mining concession with a legal mining license. Makatale in the bala. A man you won't cannot say a montable na pedi. Kababaga. Kayelia, not to me so to mamanima. Munin yakaza, or you'll punikan tumda. Kabadwelna kashit the sun in Terdabgoma and Darga, the tuner in your one side, Marble tuner in your one side.
Okay.
Abaya. But the returning Kabatu, but you want to me swelba after Sayama, go to make a appeal, be go to file a stay of execution, Kaba Vele didn't to never village. Ama the Kunyala, Kama the Kunyala politically, Kama the Nirma could use NDC non could use as a mechanism to project to Ghanaians that they are serious people, when in actual sense they don't mean business. I'm a Manyele. Didn't Shama.
I really Galamse o ma nyala yeto akam.
So karamwe no warne yel shamya. Abo na yel no Wontumi is the only person. if illegal mining is being mentioned in this country, he's the only person engaged in doing illegal mining.
Tranya ka the current president ora make a statement hali onir mo shaba bela illegal mining mane ha kara ba bu punu yino nye yamto mo masham o mai papa she ngo ka to bono har tranye yoko ne yinati yanam na bela the investigation do tunabanye.
So how long can you take it? So
maybe
Wontumi is being used as an scapegoat to set an exemplary political deceptive way of convincing Ghanaians. Now so can yela ma. No ko sarkambala. Kamaya mala ame authorized legal mining holder. Okay. License holder, legal license mining holder. But so miner and yulpune kiti badela. Kadila wunchang scot free. Kasarema kuliji metamunzo domi yulpunu ko tumda. Ba manwaya madila magban nang lima as a third party wa dertune terdaro de pago ba ko ba na tale ko tumda ba. Ama ne yela ba shama ya Wontumi is being a target. Abaya, you know when the NDC was in opposition, there were a series of individuals that were so outspoken on the issues of Galamsey.
Okay.
Abaya. Kabuku kanaya, nobody can have fighter, big can have fighter, big can have fighter. Amabama Talani, there are native NDC people that are engaging in illegal mining. Yelema. Kara vigo bestage vigo never viba mama niruma bensi shap kaba beautiful. Yet to ankunyele. These are political loose talks. Kabkwen yenati. No, 10 minutes mama niruma bedene. Amata very minute nyaba. Ama Wontumi nguna bang bagoma. Kabkubuad na benang kabye o Ghana nem ya o yipama o NDC nang pangoma. Ayi ka NDC nang takanye Wontumi babo. But takanye la ya. They should be able to stabilize the economy in a better position. And where the economy will be able to create so many jobs for the Ghanaian youth. The bad number of teacher trainee graduates that are seated in the house without jobs, they're not more important. The very number of lump sum of nurses trainee graduates that are seated in the house, man. The NDC should be able to stabilize the economy as they claim, where they are able to produce or create a reasonable number of jobs to absorb those people. That is the main priority of Ghanaians. If they actually prioritize the welfare of Ghana, then when I didn't to never know. Can you remember? No, like
I hear welfare of the people. Come on, like I'm ko bia yura, ti yura ko bia. Akwa na za bia lati.
So can yela ya mabia nyama illegal mining or mining is everywhere in Ghana. And you can testify. So are you telling me Wontumi is the senior lead in mining?
No, mommy, Benagba, Bokotori Babas Hayim.
Oh, no, you are taking side with the NDC.
No, I'm not.
No. There's some kind of political biasness here. We can mention names in the NDC, prominent people, notable people in the NDC. We know them.
Yet, no near motion Babila.
Kabozuka take about so much time not to identify line in room. Unless, if they actually wanted to create a favorable balance in dealing with issues on the face of illegal mining or on the basis of illegal mining, then they should have been able to get a series of victims or a couple of victims from both ends. Abaya, where Kabajiba Sariama, Kaviva, with transparency and fairness, Katiya, I don't want any destination. Bozokare. Logically, if we are going to analyze it from the perspective of rationality, sense of rationality, you see, one thing most people in the NDC lacks is that they lack this sense of empathy. That is having unconditional love for Ghanaians. John Dramani Mahama Kale. If John Dramani Mahama was actually having unconditional, that sense of empathy, that unconditional love for Ghanaians, state security abusing human rights, life center back, descending heavily on innocent people. Which part of the democratic provision in this country where that forbids communication? Zone NPP communicators, we are being frustrated. We are being careful in the kind of communication we do. Because whatever you say that is not in line with what the government wants, the state security will come after you. They will pick you. How state security man chang bare ni rusha. Come on, you come kana na baga. Bukwe baga mi chankai I don't be aware about. Kabazama chang to brutalizer, ka abuser, ka buaza. Finally, me end this bunter bill condition shanga. It's not logic. It's not in line with sense of recognition. Be be yel bill yetwa be yang mala shel ma de bara so yes, even if Wontumi we firmly agree and believe that he's guilty abaya ti sala lagba but if NDC actually want to demonstrate and project to Ghanaians that they are a serious political party, and John Dramani Mahama, who is the president of the day, if he actually wants to demonstrate and elaborate to Ghanaians that he really means business and he actually prioritizes the welfare of Ghanaians and all individuals that are involved in going contrary to the law, then they must equally face the law. That is why with rule of the law. You rule the people according to the law, but you don't take a side.
So I never take a side.
No, that is it. No, my brother, look at NDC as a bigger political party. Are you telling me there are no prominent people who takes major role in the NDC governance who are engaged in illegal mining? We don't want to mention names. We know them. They are there. Oh no, my brother. No. If the president himself can openly say that he's aware, very aware, and know that there are people within his governance, there are people within his political party that are involved in illegal money.
Mama, he's aware.
He's
aware. But but with evidence don't we but evidence man ban come here boko convert la Wontumi evidence
so kamani yala maya Wontumi case maya kama if not for political motivation be political credits just to get a political score. The NDC always want to claim credit for no job done. If the palala you know, the NDC is full of political comedians and jokers. They actually stage something serious to engage in serious investigation to identify individuals within this country, regardless of your political affiliation. They would have get a lot of people on the basis of this illegal mining.
Okay.
Wontumi case, Maya, not Wontumi was directly involved. But he has a mining concession where he happens to be a legal authorized license holder in mining. Okay. But he was not caught personally engaging in mining, right? But somebody, a third party that was operating in his name, is politically motivated. It's just a setup. Setup on Kunyele. There are clear evidence indicating that, this is a political motivated arrest of Wontumi. Now, so Wontumi is over-victimized. There are a lot of victims who are engaged in doing illegal mining. Kamukuchen free. And then you are serving under me. Will I agree to expose you? Do I want to create a diminishing return in the party? No. You should understand most political African leadership. Most political African leadership wants to operate on the loose part of what? They are ruling. Favoritism. But they want to make it look like Tizang MPP nira. They like okay. So I only want to be winning some Maya. One thing we want to remind the NDC is that they're very vulnerable Ghanaians. The very poor Ghanaians that unanimously endorsed them in the face of election 2024, giving them the unprecedented victory. Today, they are the very Ghanaians they are subjecting to this severe bitterness. They are the very Ghanaians they are making to go through a whole lot of agony and anxiety. My brother, John Dramani Mahama, who happens to be the leader of the day, is operating clearly on the basis of what? Absolute power corrupts. He's in authority as a leader where his authority is being unchecked and eventually eroding his morality whereby he's over-abusing power. John Dramani Mahama is violating the rule of the law. Yes, everybody must be treated fairly in accordance with the law. John Dramani Mahama is violating our democratic system. Today, freedom of speech is not being granted to Ghanaians. Communicating to hold the government accountable has become an issue.
I will freedom of speech, man.
Yes.
Tika to bit of basu. Kanya nothing ya defamation of character. Kama ayele to apasu. Karmana dinyala you to actually the two damage your image. Anya karpala don't fear to criticize you biani. Nta anye siyasa wana bana ko criticize ra karka problem. But the defamation of character.
So let me ask you this very simple question. Within the 8 years duration of Nanado Bawumia government, we were in this country, where we saw most individuals from the NDC Kabeshini broad day panel discussions vilifying Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, using all sort of abusive adjective against Dr. Bawumia. Are you in this country? Where the NDC, to a point, they were using the word lie. At a point, they even attached the word lie to Bawumia's name, calling him Bawum liar. We were in this country. People were insulting Akufo-Addo left, center, back. I can mention names. The like of Malik Baksintede was so outspoken on issues, vilifying Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. But we were having the state security and other legal authorities, the high courts and other courts under our control, but we never descended heavily on most individuals. About na yel na Akufo-Addo Bawumia government ni. Tira abin yar nyirba, kaba tura Akufo-Addo, karakunya direct to Arabiane. Ka secondary school be yinante tura Akufo-Addo da abin yar shere. Secondary school authority man dati yele no de tuni to sanction be mo. Ka sanction ba Akufo-Addo ndala nyengun yina ntiti presidential assent na be cheka be ma labna ara nyele
ka
babra ko tuwo me kar ko nyele
moma de to guarantee ndi garanta so rab gargo so ngbaye tu de be simsim
no you see come in the face of democracy we come political communication we have every right to criticize the government constructively. We have every right to communicate, to hold the government accountable. We have every right as political communicators to communicate, to enlighten Ghanaians. We have every right to communicate, to expose the hidden doings of the NDC. We have every right to communicate, to hold the government accountable. Exposing the shortfalls and the deficits of the government. Zoya, John Dramani Mahama has clearly introduced a culture of silence in the face of democracy, whereby democracy has not given room for culture of silence. We were operating strictly by what? Democracy. Now, when you look at democracy by Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln gave a very clear definition to democracy, where he defined democracy in 3 distinct parameters, where he said democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Government of the people, you the government of the day. You unanimously what stands for the entire welfare of the country. Be it Dilamdia party, be Oka party. Nyungomnanti mazamati ampako dima abilanjamati lemnunku lemnun yitum tale zargumanu tunar jibasham lala kawwoni yitum tale karajiyo ama debutu nan kama political biasness wabwoni ba yitum tale ngunka yanzan yina pulone ne gana nan ti yana mai kwanwa kala bon na yen lemnun butum de tale
matinye zo ndawai so haman sababi so around me our behinwo tinye ka mbawme yihela tana yani banzongo yulugbai communicator sola nta liam communicator nyu nta kora ye to abiar pampa bomya nta na kabra tuhuni nta zongo zawo to ko poisha na ka lata yina.
So you see to look for no bore usually these are instances that give a clearer picture difference of the NDC and the NPP. The NPP is a political party that usually produce great leaders, where the leaders always demonstrate their leadership on the sense of empathy. That is unconditional. Limo, Dr. Bawumia de la Wundatu.
Yeah, so I will obey opposition. Because you to Abiapo.
Yes,
I come bagu.
Mana kunya bantur Bawumia. Day in, day out, people are vilifying Dr. Bawumia for no reason. The messiah of Ghanaian politics, people are vilifying him. Because he understands leadership that should be demonstrated on the sense of empathy, that should be demonstrated on the better sense of recognition. Now, so, they don't know to chura kamali dalire. Amila, so no to kuchura. ka dol ko mala dalir ka dol ko to ka dalir kar kuli jam ka dalir de babjane ba anyarle ma ali tenir man non shama they are just political jokers nang su shanga den nang ma de mala ka vin yana bal akufado ba umia government 8 years nang sun nun da nang ya pam kada ku tuya katrana to zang state security ka burnir ba ka gbar ba aku yel to aka akufado so bale o encham ka ba so karan wa din papa wakati wo karan yala lan yel to ka jo mama on kulle ko so bale o encham ka ba mar ngote na on par na ta za
oh no ngote na no par na ta za
fin yana ba
inyetin chang tong pa to ama chang sham ta Wontumi te ko Wontumi to ama ta ko yene do ko nyala politika battle ka miara nta no Wontumi sar kama nar tam kan lo so fen kam na te constituency elections da nan ya NPP nta ka da nyala den chang ven ya nta Savelugu constituency wo ba tra nyala ban chang te observe election ma tra nye den chang sham Ami in elections ma constituency elections ma but to check kana power 2028.
Yes, so I cannot tell to constituency executive elections ma commander pum fil kayen yele nde yela e drakul pilme salama tilanna na suduma so I cannot tell the election mon could tell a clearer picture of the NPP preparedness and readiness to recapture power come general election 2028. Ali benshadang ba right from tunkunon to marathons of elections mazasa. Benshadang ba retirano presidential primaries across the nation throughout the 60 regions. Salaman Daniel. Abanya. So you see, I lead to constituency executive elections right from northern region across the 18 constituencies, man, take by the entire country at large, man. There was a similar universal picture cut through, indicating to Ghanaians that the MPP has actually come getting back to their actual thinking, and then getting themselves ready and making their minds ready to recapture power 2028. But I'm sure matitonya most internal elections. Karanangle kanang bagpien kazaba zabe halka elections ma batu nai. Amai late executive elections ma talk by Mabin. For the first time, Kanyaka constituency executive elections, internal elections, non MPP pune. Now so right from voting manner session manner end. Kaba ballot boxes manner take part of sonda. Kapil sort halt na. Brand line la or Savelugu la 26 aspirant for the entire portfolios mazasa. Banda yina to board na mama. Benim vopishina yob ndanyawa. Abaya. Brand line la zasa. Njili. Kaba jilla ingo kaba kujia nyam nkujim bata ba kadir mabere fia kaba pai ballot papers maso kapil soto right from Nasara Brapila Nasara organizer mpil karbo according to ballot positions banda kal first ballot position ma incumbent Nasara ma for Savelugu banda ko pili nkal ntekale after besortia kakalodin konye 290 ben shao out of 1,000, a total delegate turnout of 1,121. Ko banya ko nam didakshima ka bang nungumbala ma o content da manungula o diome ora tan chan nteto nuwa ka yisizane da da manam mane ya no sati no badi o twema ndio o me dia ne imasiri o dia na swepiale ora yisime kallara kanan na nirmawo ka to twema no ngon dioma abaya ka yini mane ncham other portfolios ma the same